Have you ever wondered how matcha is made? Today we're going to show you the whole process from farm to cup.
For the first time ever, I'm actually standing in the field where Nekohama is grown. So this is what we make Nekohama from. This leaf right here is the origination of Nekohama. Matcha is made from the leaves of the tea plant, ground into powder, and this all starts at the farm. Not all tea can become matcha. To be considered matcha, the leaves need to be shade grown for at least 3 weeks, if not longer. This starves the plant of their natural food source, which is sunlight. This is what gives matcha higher levels of nutrients compared to other types of tea. After shading, farmers harvest the leaves. This was traditionally done by hand, and due to new technological innovations, is done mechanically. The highest quality matcha comes from the first harvest in the spring. This is called the first flush. There are farms that harvest more than 3 times a year, but let's stay focused on premium matcha. After the harvest, the leaves are packaged for processing by the farm and sent to a producer. The producer is responsible for taking the leaves from their raw form and taking them through sometimes a 9-step process to get them ready to be ground into what we call matcha. So this facility we're in right now is actually processing leaves. It's really loud. Right here you can see the leaves are ready to go through the sorting process. Check those out. The production journey begins when the leaves first arrive at the production facility. Here they are washed to remove any impurities. The leaves are then allowed to settle for a short period of time and are further processed in temperature-controlled rooms before they begin their journey of becoming a matcha. So after they've been in this room for 24 hours and they've had a chance to settle, what's going to happen next is they're going to go through a cleaning process and then it gets dried. Their goal is to make sure that every single leaf is open instead of slightly closed, because when they're flat, they can get rid of all the moisture and they'll be able to dry it a lot better. And those are the leaves you really want to use to make any kind of great tea product. In this next step, the leaves are exposed to steam for between 10 to 15 seconds, and this process is used to stop the oxidation. This process is unique to Japanese tea and is what keeps the jade color of matcha intact. Following this, the leaves go through a unique drying process. This blow-drying machine with nets here evaporates all the moisture from the steaming before allowing the leaves to fall into a conveyor belt that takes them through a temperature-regulated oven that then dries the leaves, preparing them for the next stage. At this point, the leaves are in their aracha form and have been dehydrated, reducing their size by around 80%. They are then ready to either continue on their journey to becoming tencha, the precursor to matcha, or at this stage they can be stored in freezers until they are needed. It's so hot and humid in here and you can feel it because the leaves go through this entire process, but by the time they come out of this machine, they're completely dry. If you just start doing this with the leaves in your hand, they'll start to just crumple up, and that's how they're able to separate the stems, the veins, and everything else. So right there you can see it just falls right off, and then you can just easily get the stems out. And it's just an amazing process. You wouldn't imagine that it takes this much work to make matcha. It's just beyond me how many hours of labor and how many hours of just processing time goes into making one bag of Nekohama. To go from aracha to tencha, the leaves are further processed and broken down into uniform-sized pieces. This process is where the stems and the veins are separated from the main body of the leaves, also known as the blade. After the stems and blades are removed, they go through multiple cycles that sorts out and discards anything but the main body of the leaf. From here, the producers will then add an additional layer of sorting to further ensure that any leaves that do not meet quality standards are removed, along with any unwanted materials, to make sure that the safety standards are followed. Here, we now have what is known as tencha. The highest quality of tencha is what we have been using to create Nekohama matcha.
We're here for our final step before our matcha goes into the bag. So we had to wear these big suits so we make sure nothing dirty gets into the matcha here. We have the stone grinders, and these grinders are running 18 hours a day. This is actually more of a traditional way. A lot of other factories use automatic machines, but you actually don't get the same quality. The stone grinders make sure that you can finely ground the matcha into small microns, which makes your matcha less chalky and more smooth to drink.
Since the 1100s, when the Camellia sinensis plant was first brought from China to Japan, matcha has been made through a process of stone grinding. To ensure matcha retains its quality, you need to make sure that grinders are not moving too fast. You can usually yield around 40 grams of matcha per hour for each grinder, so that is why ceremonial matcha can cost quite a lot of money. Some producers have actually began using ceramic grinding processes that yields more quantity but is not always better quality. Other producers have developed their own unique production methods, which is why not all matcha is created equal. Our goal at Nekohama has been to find ways to further innovate every step of the production process to prevent oxidation and prevent the decrease of nutrient density, and also try to remove as much of the astringency from any cup of matcha that has Nekohama. This right here is where it all starts, at the farm, on the fields, in the middle of this beautiful, beautiful valley. Thank you so much for coming along with us today. We're going to be sharing a lot more videos around matcha. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this with your friends. Thank you so much, Matcha, for being a part of our journey. Thank you.